Welcome to CAS 103, Columbia Gorge Community College, the Dalles, Oregon. Mrs. Hughitt, instructor. And you may address me as either Mrs. Hughitt or Mrs. H, whichever you would prefer. This video is an intro video to get you started in the course. Once you've figured out how to get logged into Moodle, which I have already sent you some information about, this is where you're going to land. Now, there's some things about course navigation that can be helpful. You've got boxes over here that you can open and close. But you can also basically throw them to the other side of the screen. So if you don't want all of those boxes there, you can sort of customize them and move them over to this side. Courses are basically almost a living thing. They change. So as Windows develops new Windows systems, new tracks are added to the course, new textbooks are required, old Windows versions may be removed, different themes may be put on it. So you may notice in some of the videos that if the basic content hasn't changed for the video, but the theme color may have, and that's usually for my convenience of being able to tell one version from another much more than it is for anything like major with the class. So if you see a blue version or a purple version or this red version or whatever, you'll know that the videos were simply done when a different version was being used, and a lot of times the only change in those updates might be something as simple as a new Windows version track has been added. And we'll talk a little more about that in a couple of minutes here. So you come in here, you start to read. You'll notice my email address is right here at the top. And you'll need one of 3 textbooks. You'll also know that CS 121 or equivalent typing skills, placement into reading 115 and writing 115 is recommended and as actually a prerequisite. Now, if you're using a machine that has Windows 7 on it still, and there's a Windows 7 track, then you would pick to order this book. Now, this track may go away eventually as it gets to be older and older and not as common. There's Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 still, and Windows 10 has been added. Now, by the time you see this video, who knows? Microsoft could have made Windows whatever, and there may be a new one there. You only need one book. So you're going to pick the one you're wanting to use. Now, if you're not sure what your machine is using, there's a video that's been made right here that will help you be able to go into the computer and get that information so that you know exactly what you're working with. Because most of us just walk in, push the button, turn it on. As long as it wakes up and goes to work, we're okay with that. But it's going to make a difference in this class for you to know. You also can do the first 2 weeks of the class without the textbook, but starting at the beginning of week 3, you have to have it. So if you're ordering it from someplace online, please do not order it from some weird site that takes 6 weeks to mail things. You know, stick with well-known sites like an Amazon or something like that where you can make sure you're actually going to get the book. Otherwise, you probably would be best off just going to the college bookstore and picking up a copy of the correct book there. Some course information here. You need to be logging into the class at least twice a week. That basically figures out to like every 48 hours if you don't count weekends. You need to be working on the work. That's kind of like your attendance. This is not self-paced. You need to be meeting the deadlines and due dates. You cannot wait until the last week of the term and like, oh, I'm going to get it all finished this week. No, not going to happen and work out well for you. You'll notice again, I give you another copy of my emails. So please make sure you're using the correct copy. Below that, you're going to hit some information. The start video here video is the one you're watching right now. Here's my introduction, course syllabus, course goals. Again, this is the same video on which Windows version are you using. If you know, there's no reason to watch it. If you have no clue, you need to find out so you have the right book. Grading information, grading rubrics, due dates, late work policies, all important things to know. Don't tell me 2 or 3 weeks into the course, but I didn't know I couldn't submit late work or that you didn't take this as late work because the late work policy is right there. Email netiquette, you always get more with honey than you do with vinegar, as this expression goes. So doing appropriate emails is important, and so make sure that you know what email etiquette is. Or in general netiquette for like forum postings, things like that. It's much easier to know kind of the ground rules than find out the hard way. This is the instructor's forum. This is where, as you'll see throughout the term, because this is a course that's already been taught, you'll see that I go in here and I post things to you about the class. It is your responsibility to be checking that every 48 hours. That does have a required email that will be sent to you, but Moodle sometimes just sort of forgets. And so you cannot trust Moodle to remember to send emails because at times it just doesn't. So you are required to go in there and be checking that every couple of days to make sure you're not missing information. Those are going to be updates. Those are going to be reminders. Those are going to be the, oops, that didn't work here. You need to do this instead type of messages. Coffee shop is a totally different area, but before I move on, this is my area post. You may reply to me there, but please do not start a new post there. Coffee shop, that's kind of like totally your area. You need a ride to the college next week. Your car's going into the shop and you're wondering if anybody in the class is heading that way at the right time and you could hop a ride. You want to put together a study group, something like that. Do not put a question in there that you expect me to answer. That is a student area. And while I do get the emails for it, I may not get them quick enough to answer you. If you want a quick, prompt answer, email me. Do not do Moodle messaging. Do not do a forum post. If you have a question, a concern, a problem, you're stuck, emergency, whatever it is, email me. I monitor my email very carefully. I try to stay on it. You should hear back. The college requires every 48 hours. I say every 24 usually, and really reality is much more frequently than that. It would only be if I don't have cell phone tower or I'm flying or something like that where they make us turn things like phones off. Otherwise, I monitor on my cell phone, my iPad, as well as my computer. I do not promise that there will not be typos on my cell phone. They need to make them a whole lot bigger for my hands. But at least you'll get an answer and maybe a giggle here or there with my typos. I do try to proofread, but. So now you've kind of gotten through that section, so what's below that? Well, these are usually college kind of required things, but it also has some extra textbook resources in here as well. If you're not sure how to use the PowerPoints in CAS 133 because you're not real familiar with it, this video may help. Now, this may be changing. I've heard a rumor that this is moving to Thursday, or from Thursday to Wednesday. Whatever it is posted here will be the current. I will make sure I double check with the college to have that at the right time for each term because they do occasionally change that. You need to read this information. You need to open this link, read the information. Open this link, and at the end of it, it will ask you for my email address, which again is a good idea to copy and paste. And it will also ask for your email address. That way you get to send it to yourself and to me. Now, right up here is my email address. Just highlight it. I use a Control-C, and then I can paste it into this link once I've completed the test. Now, if I don't get it, I will let you know that, and you can forward me the copy that you have sent to you. So please make sure you do both copies. There's a pre and a post test. I grade the post test usually. If the pre-test is the only thing I get, or you get the pre-test 100% right, then I'll grade that. There's also a cheating video. Unfortunately, my definition and the college definition of cheating may not be what a student's definition of cheating is. So you need to make sure you watch that and understand what is okay and what is not okay, and then take this required quiz. And again, the required day and time will be there to match what the college policy is. You have a form to do, and there is a video on that because as you move into week 1, You will notice you have your units, your summaries, again, that Windows version for people. And then there's going to be a video about logging into Moodle, which is the link that I sent you in your introduction email. There's the introduction for week 1, a video about your journaling, a video about, for those of you using Windows 8, and here's the forum information to help get you started. So literally you start with the first thing and work right down the row. If it doesn't say optional, that means it's a required thing for you to check. Obviously, if it says for those of you using Windows 8 and you're using 7 or 10 or whatever the new one is, you don't have to do that then. Hopefully this will help you get started. Again, my email address is up here. If you are stuck, I am the place to go for help. The sooner you ask, the sooner we can try to get you unstuck. So please send me an email and hope this gets you going.